Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another exciting edition of the In Our Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Ruiz. You can call me Adrian. Today, we're going to get our education on, y'all. And I have Dr. Jenni Murphy, and she's the Dean of the College of Continuing Education for Cal State University, Sacramento. And she's doing some amazing work in this community, and I just want to dive deep into this conversation. Dr. Jenni, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dr. Jenni, what can I call you?
Any of it.
Okay. Very
Just
cool.
like let it flow. So
Let
we're
it
good.
flow.
Yeah.
I do want to get into what you all are doing in your department and how you're making things happen for so many people. But first, I would love for Sacramento to get to know you better. Tell us a little bit about Dr. Jenni Murphy. Like, where are you from? What do you believe in? What are you into these days?
Yeah. So I did not set out to be like an academic. So this is why I'm like Dr. Jenni, Dr. Murphy, just Jenni, like all the things.
Yeah.
I'm a farm girl from Ohio.
Nice.
Girl Scout through and through. We're on the Girl Scout board together.
Yes.
So, but my roots really did come up through being a Girl Scout and
Okay.
wanting to make the world a better place. I ended up in Arizona to go to college at ASU, but it was really my dad had moved to start a new company, and my mom and I closed down the farm in Ohio and moved. And I took a year and got to travel with an amazing organization of young people that was about building peace through understanding. It's an organization called Up With People that started in the 60s.
How cool.
So I spent a year living with host families, doing leadership experience and doing a show, musical show, and doing community engagement. And that was like shifted my entire worldview, like farm girl to like global citizen. And it made me thirsty and hungry to be educated, to make a difference in the world. And so I've stayed on the West Coast ever since.
Are you happy with that decision?
Oh God, I love it here. I loved Arizona, but I love Sacramento more. So when I ended up getting to Sacramento, like this is home. And I do think of Sacramento as the Midwest of California. Like we have agrarian roots. We're very community and relational oriented. We have seasons, but they're not that rough. And so I love that. I love that. This is home.
That's an excellent point. I never thought of it that way, but it makes total sense. Yeah. We always ask people on this show, what are they listening to these days? What are you listening to these days?
Yeah, so for all you all, we established a few minutes ago, he's a nerdy music geek. Is that right?
Total geek.
Yeah,
Yes.
junkie, all the things.
Yes.
I am not. I am like music of the moment. So we are going to go see, my husband and I are going to see Norah Jones on Friday. So I've been like all about Norah this week.
Nice.
This morning I was at boot camp and they play, for our fitness, they play a mix of like house music and 80s dance music. And I love that.
Very nice.
On Sundays when I cook, I love to like stream yacht rock music. It just is bouncy enough and my era enough to like, I can ignore it or dance along and sing and cook. And I feel that happiness translates to the food. And then wherever I am, if there is a beat and I can dance to it, I love it. So cultural music, I can like move around. I love it. So music of the moment.
So good. So good. On the way here, stuck in traffic, don't know how I got there, but I stayed there. I listened to some Bob Seger, some Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers,
nice.
Rolling Stones. I was just, that's
awesome.
where I was.
That's
and,
awesome.
And then like if you ask me like at the end of the day where I'm going to be, I'll probably be like listening to Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole.
Yeah.
But I love how you said it, that like for you, it's like whatever makes you feel good, like you're there.
Exactly.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Wait, tell me about this musical career you had this way. That just kind of flew right by me and I was like, wait, what?
Well, not really a musical career. We were, I always like how to explain this. So Up With People was really about the positive aspects of youth. And if you take 125 young people and you put them together somebody can sing, somebody can dance.
Wow.
Everybody that was selected and participated from around the globe was really about making a difference. And so you didn't audition, you just interviewed, and they were looking for people with values and impact-oriented decisions. And so the year I traveled in 1987 to 88, there were 4 sets of 125 young people that convened in Tucson, Arizona to train and learn our shows and get selected. And so I traveled with 125 other people between 18 and 24. We went across the United States, up into Canada. We spent the second half of our tour mostly in Europe. So we were in Germany and Italy, Austria, Switzerland. It was amazing, like just game changing in my way of like appreciating culture, of appreciating like making the world better, just like one person at a time, like non-denominational, non-partisan, just about the positive like impact of youth.
Right.
And it was amazing. Yeah. And 40 some years later, we're still in touch, the group I traveled with. We have miniature reunions, we have formalized reunions, and I'm starting to appreciate this as we age. It's the one circle of friends where I will always be the youngest because I traveled at 18, and so many of them traveled at 24.
Yeah.
So very special.
This is my favorite part of doing these podcasts is that you hear Dr. Jenni Murphy, College of Continuing
I know,
Education.
it sounds so like stuffy and formal, and I'm so far from that.
It's so cool though.
Thanks.
But let's talk about the College of Continuing Education, because I do believe that from what I've heard and conversations we've had is that you all are changing lives all of the time. And I want to talk a little bit about, can you share with us what the College of Continuing Education does? Because I think we all can make up our own story when we hear that title.
Yeah, I could say it in 2 ways, and then I'll give you the real thing. But like, you can say like, oh, we're kind of like Burger King. You can have whatever you want.
Okay.
And then the other thing goes back to, this story, I think of the Indian story of the blind men that were all touching a different part of the elephant, and they were describing what the elephant was. So the blind man touching the tail said an elephant is a rope, and the blind man touching the horn and the husk was like, this is a firm structure. So whatever part you touch, whatever part you see is what you know something to be. And so our college is really complex, the way that we're structured within the university and within the university system, that if you've taken summer session through us, you think that's what we do. If you completed, you're an adult coming back to complete your degree, that's what you know us for. If you work for any one of a myriad of state agencies and you went through a leadership program, you think that's what we are. And so we have this whole sort of portfolio that's like a mini university inside of the university, and we focus on the non-traditional students. And so it is oftentimes the working age adults, professionals, people coming back or furthering, or it's the youth. So it's sort of, we fill in the gaps for everything that's not the non-traditional high school to college model.
I imagine that for adults going back to school, there's all kinds of hurdles and stuff that they're dealing with. What are some of those hurdles that you help adults just, and whether it's in their mind or it's real? Well, they're both real, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, that's good. So this is where then I go to my geeky side. So I, because I was working in the university and I did not come up through traditional, like I stumbled my way into higher ed. I got laid off from the .com industry and just kind of stumbled into a job and took a test on monster.com. What do you want to be when you grow up? I know, that like dates me. I thought I'd be a good college administrator, but I had to look up what that was. Which I was like, oh, there's like a manager of training programs. I can do this. So I stumbled into all of that. And then I ultimately, because working in higher ed, you really need the credentials behind your name, right? Like I think I was smart and competent, but I'm even better prepared to lead now because I furthered my own education. And working at the institution, I benefited from some fee waivers that I had never enjoyed before.
Gotcha.
A lot of student loan debt from my first 2 degrees and nothing from my third. So that balances out.
It sure does.
But what I studied was the policies and adult learners that impact students coming back, and this large population of folks that are known as some college but no credential. And there's over 40 million people in the U.S. with that in California.
40 million.
Yeah, in the U.S. and it's climbing regularly.
Whoa.
In California, I think last stats I saw from California Competes, 6.8 million with some college, no credential, that want to come back. We've got more like 9 to 10 million that haven't finished, but maybe aren't expressing the need or want to finish. So part of my research really, I found that there are sort of your personal barriers. So maybe you are carrying shame because you didn't complete, or someone told you you weren't good enough and you believed it.
Wow,
There
yeah.
are just situational barriers like childcare, time of day.
Yes.
I have a 24/7 like career in law enforcement or fire, and how do I fit into a schedule? And then there's institutional barriers, like what does the university or the institution have that makes it hard to come back? Probably some of the things that pushed you out in the first place for some people, structural inequities. And so we try to look at all of those. And I think this is where our college is really great at looking at the macro part of this and the micro, like one student at a time, trauma-informed advising,
Nice.
meeting people where they're at.
Nice.
It could be student loan debt. It could be they're just carrying shame. It could be can't figure out where the front door to the university is to come back. Or is it something bigger? And sometimes the bigger is we see a lot of adults that their kids are coming up and they're like, I never finished and I'm trying
What
to
a
tell my
trip.
kid what they need to do and I want to be a better role model. And so that from a macro lens, right, is the multi-generational impact of education. The children in the home education is really really tied to what is the highest level of education of the parent or the adult in the home, and oftentimes the female, right? So whether it's your auntie, your ajumma, like it is that. And so I like love supporting the youth, and I think let's do the yes and invest in the adults, because that's where youth, that's what they see, that's what they hear, that's what they know. So I don't like to, you're in youth development, we don't like to take money from other places. I don't think we should have to. We should do like the yes and to support this.
I'm fascinated by this. So someone comes to you and says, look, I want to go back to school, but money is funny right now.
Yeah.
How do you start that conversation with them?
Yeah, so we start the conversation with always like sort of like, are they carrying student loan debt, and are there more loans available, and how do you pause that? The other thing is working with employers, which I'd like to shift some of this to employers. A lot of employers have a tuition reimbursement, but that's a barrier for a lot of people because then as a person you got to pay the cash, take the class. Turn in your grade. So you may be carrying this additional debt.
Oh.
So like if employers could just, hey university, bill us when they're done. Like, so there's a flip we could make. So that's one of the barriers. And then the other thing is we are working hard to establish on-ramp grants and finish line grants. So not a scholarship that individuals have to apply for and go through hoops, but that every adult that comes back would be granted a startup grant. A comeback grant. We're trying to figure out what to call it. We've got to try to raise money on it.
Yes.
Yeah, so I've studied this in other states and other institutions, and it's just one of those like things that eases the friction. And it's as much as the financial part, but there's a psychological part of people feel invested in right from the start.
Right.
Like this university has invested in me. Right? And then getting people over that finish line as well. So my goal is that we will be able to, in the future, do that for every adult learner that's coming back, that they would get $500 for an on-ramp grant and $500 for a finish line grant. No
That's
questions,
change making right
no
there.
qualifications. You don't have to fill out a form.
Yeah.
You got to show up
Yeah.
and want to be here, and we got you.
So good. So good. Well, go to the psychological part with me. Like, you mentioned shame, you mentioned this feeling of inadequacy. How do you all deal with that psychological, emotional side of things?
Yeah, so it's really interesting because it's very like one-on-one. It's advising, but it is just asking the questions. And most people just need us to hold space for them to tell their story.
So good.
And then to tell their story only once. Not to have to get transferred to another department to tell the story again. So this holistic like wraparound services for adults, not like go over here, tell your story.
Right.
Oh, wait, okay, so now I need financial aid. So we got your classes picked, go over here. We try to just do the whole wraparound and have the same person that is part of that process stay with them through their educational journey, so that they've got that person that knows their story, that is their champion, that can help them out, that can call them up and say like, hey, you weren't at class, or we see you haven't checked in your online class. Everything okay? What do you need? Right?
Very nice.
And then helping people figure out payment plans, taking classes in a sequence that matters for them, whether it's their income or their timing, making that all work. There's so many adults that once they come back, they actually then go on and get more education. They pursue it. They're revitalized.
Fish back in water.
Yeah, and they're like, oh my God, I am fine. I'm not a loser.
Right.
Right? Like institutions were built to screen people out.
Say that again.
Institutions were built to screen people out. Yeah. So when you sit with that, and you look at who we lose, and you look at who we want and need to bring back, this is an equity issue.
Boom.
It is equity. The people that have some college and no degree or no credential, typically women, persons of color, veterans, minorities, historically marginalized populations, immigrants, you name it. Right?
Yep. 100.
So this is why it matters so much.
Wow. And they're brilliant in their own right. They're just incredibly brilliant people.
Yeah.
And I love what you said about being the fish back in water, though. Like, they go in there and they're like, oh, I got this.
I got this.
Yeah.
I got this.
Last season, we interviewed Dr. Tina Torres.
Oh, yay.
Her story is
Amazing.
that, right?
Amazing.
It's like everything that you just said. It's like, whoa. I'm curious for you, when you think about, you seem, okay, Sac State, don't get mad at me. I'm going to speak generically. About systems. Your department seems so human. How do you continue to stay blood and bone inside a cinder block?
Oh, that is a great question. Yeah, because I think that I think of the institutions, they're really set up like manufacturing, right?
Yeah.
Inputs and outputs, and you go through the process and you check the box and you learn along the way and you have this stuff, but it's a machine. It's so huge and it's hard to change. I think there's a couple of things, unique positioning for us. One is our particular college, and in the CSU system, professional and continuing education operates on what's called self-support. So we receive absolutely none of the state general fund that comes to the university. So we are a nonprofit inside of a public trust.
Oh.
So fees, student pay fees, that's like keeps the lights on, has the classroom, pays the faculty that we hire. We do some grants and contracts and to bring in revenue. We do some fundraising and that, but it's basically just fee for service, like a nonprofit. And I think that keeps us having a hustle, looking for like where are the students that need us the most, where are the industries that need employees, where are there workforce shortages, where is there a need in the community that needs to be filled, and how can we do it in a cost-effective, access-oriented way that extends the mission of the university, right? Because the universities have a core mission, but we work in the side spaces and try to fill in the gaps of what else the community needs, how can we build that reach and those resources, and then where are there things and people and entities outside of the institution that need to get connected to the right folks.
Yes.
So I think it is this innovation hub kind of space. It is about bridging the like town and gown or the ivory tower, even though Sac State's not such an ivory tower. We're pretty approachable as institutions go, but we're still an education institution and a
Sure.
four-year, and if you didn't grow up with that, or you haven't been on that, or in your culture, in your family, education seems like something you can't have, like we have to break that down, right? So I don't know, maybe we just always stay at the right size, but it's important to us to be very personable, very meet students where they are.
Yeah.
And there's so many people in the university system that are that way too.
Yeah.
But there are structures that hold things tight.
Totally.
Right?
Absolutely.
There are just structures.
Yep.
So
Yeah. And I've just noticed that, like, you all are very human. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like widgets, or that you are going to become a widget,
yeah,
which is
no,
very neat.
Thank you. In addition to that, I guess what I would add is that almost every university has some kind of continuing ed, some kind of professional ed, and whether it's a private institution, a research, or a more public comprehensive, like there's people like us and colleges or departments like us across the nation. And there's never a place that I feel more professionally at home than when I'm at our like association conference, when I'm
Nice.
with across the CSU with all the people in professional and continuing education, because we're the others inside of, like we're the others serving others inside of the big machine,
Got it.
and it's worth it.
100. It's worth it. I want to go into like how you all navigate the financial components of this, because it must be
Yeah.
really hard. But before that, let me put that over to the side. Can we talk about reaching young people who college is like, they've never been told about school. They've been told that's not for you, or they feel that it's not for you. How are you reaching out to these young people who are at that point in time where if you could just get them into the system,
Yeah.
they're going to be all right?
Yeah, so two things come to mind for me, like two specific examples. One is, and I don't know how many years ago this is because it's all a bit of a blur to me, the funding for the career academies in the high schools went away. And we had a director at the time in our college that was really clued into this. And so she wanted to replace, try to fill that gap for career academies. So we started with a couple career academies in the summer for youth. It's not something that our college had done before, serving the youth. We were more focused on the adults, right? And so we did a couple, and it was with the high school career academy teachers and like on the Sac State campus, just physically get people on there, make them feel safe, give them kind of an introductory, like little exposure, lunch in the union, classes from 8 to 12 and 1 to 4 or 1 to 5. So we've got working parents that can navigate this, right?
Right.
That has grown to I think we're at over 30 summer academies now, everything from robotics to health careers to fashion. And high school students can take these classes. They get a sampling of what it might be like to pursue this as a career, how to be academically prepared.
How cool.
And most of these are all now taught by actually our university faculty, because they've gotten involved in it.
Very
and
nice.
They've learned to see, and then this is this pipeline and this exposure. And then this is a generous community, even though we don't have the big enormous donors. It's still a generous community in Sacramento.
100.
So we have been able to, US Bank has provided funding every year. So we're able to provide scholarships and fee waivers to any student that needs it, any young person.
That's
so that they
beautiful.
can experience that. So,
Okay.
so there's that part.
Yeah.
The other part is, you mentioned Dr. Tina Torres. She's our Sac State director for the K-16 collaborative in the region that I've been deeply involved in ever since that opportunity came out. But one of the things with it is about rewiring the ecosystem. And one of the cool things the Sacramento region has been able to do in this collaborative is build a different kind of database, so that the data can go from the high schools to the universities or community colleges, and the data can go back in real time, as opposed to data that you usually get a year or two later.
Go figure.
So in that like data modeling, then we have the opportunity now to do priority admission, to do what I don't think we legally call it guaranteed admission, but guaranteed admission, where we can reach directly out to the students and to their families to say, welcome to Sac State if you choose to come here, because now we know you meet the minimum qualifications. We know you will pass our screening if you just apply. And how that changes like the hearts and the conversations in a home where what you've grown up with is it's so hard to get in, you can't afford it, you don't, people like us don't go there, we're fine, no one everybody in our family's been fine, all these things. When all of a sudden the university reaches out and says, hey, we're looking forward to having you, you can come, just fill out the application, like fill out the FAFSA. Like it starts to just change the relationship. And I this is in its infancy, so to speak, for us in the region and kind of across the state, but this is going to be a game changer for California.
So cool
to be doing more of this.
Removing barriers, right?
Exactly.
There's this, what's going through my head, and as you're sharing all of this, is like, holy shit, it's so hard to keep people in the system, right? Like, one, let's get them in, right? But that's just one high five. Yay, we did it. But now how do we keep them in to completion?
Yeah, the retention is so important. And it's a dynamic formula, right? Like you have to have enough classes for people to get into. You have to have enough faculty. And in some disciplines, that's easier than others. In nursing, it's hard to keep enough nursing faculty. There's such a demand for nurses in healthcare professions, and being a faculty member is hard work and gratifying, and can also, if you're a practicing nurse, the income is much higher than what faculty make. And so you've got all these dynamics going on that affect retention. It's one thing students want, it's another availability of classes, availability of support, classes at the right time, and then you get into transportation, digital competencies and literacy, access to computers, all the things.
Oh my goodness. So behind the curtain, let's get back to this financial component. Like, it's no secret, budget cuts are hitting everything and everyone under the sun right now. How are you all navigating this tough time of just, it seems like bad news every week when it comes to the budget?
It is. It looks like that, and it is like that because it's very real. I think there is this one juxtaposition where lots of times in our history it's been like bad budgets, but somehow things still go on. So you have plenty of people that are like, oh, there must be money somewhere, or it'll fix it because government always does. That's not the case now. That's not the world we're in. There are structural deficits everywhere in education systems and in the state of California. So we're really like at the mercy of these things. One-time funds that really help start a new program, bulk up a faculty group to teach in a certain discipline. But then the one-time money keeps coming and people start to rely on it. And then this is how you get a structural deficit.
And they think it's going to keep coming.
So it is really a lot of you've got to do the hard things. For me, inside of our like nonprofit, inside of the public trust, I think a little different. We're already always wired to be looking at where and how do we increase revenue, where and how do we decrease expenses, and where and how do we find efficiencies that improve services, that keep us moving forward, and balance that out. But we don't have we have to pay for the building that we're in, but I didn't have to build the building. The university had to build the building, right? The CSU had to fund that. So there's just layers across the state, and that is local and across the state, and every institution is dealing with it as they have to. But it's a complex formula, and you don't always know which lever to pull. And enrollment, institutions are funded on enrollment, not on completions. And so you got to gauge all that too. But we want people to complete. We want them to get through faster. We want them to not take on debt. So we're really at a point of change in higher ed across the nation and in California. Very much in California, the enrollment cliff feels real to people now, like it hasn't. And we don't always pay attention to this. Happened in the Rust Belt, it happened in other parts of the country, and it's finally hitting us here.
How are you dealing with the fact that continuing education is going to take a hit some way, some shape, form.
Yeah. Well, I think it is a point of innovation. It's an inflection point, right? There is, when everything is good, people don't change.
Well
Right?
said. Well said. Yeah.
Because it's either not incentive or not motivation. Not everybody's wired to keep shifting and changing. And so this is a really good inflection point and opportunity point for us. It does require a certain amount of discipline to think through and do the feasibility studies and really, do that methodical thing. But at the same time, like our world is moving so fast, opportunities are coming like that, and you have to like pick your opportunities and deflect other things at the same time. And so I would say this is the first time in my career where it's been really very visible to me when you've got to do the methodical, traditional kind of change management, planning, feasibility studies, and you need to like interject that and balance that with disruption strategies as well. Because to change a system requires disruption.
That's right.
And so what like my training was, what I know now, like these things are coming together, and it's just like we're going to have a new world in terms of education and what this looks like. And we as institutions do not have the luxury now to think of like, oh, high school students and transfer students coming from community college. Like we need to know this is our working professionals group. These are our transfer students, but the last time they were in community college was 10 years ago, right? We need to know that this cultural group here, this is the way that they pursue, this is their belief in education or not in. Like these people, absolutely, it's a workforce issue. They need to get their better job now, right? These people have so much work experience from the military, and we're not giving them any credit for that. We have to change that, like credit for prior learning, and we need to get them into a shorter, more accelerated pathway so that they can work and be part of our thriving economy and put food on the table and care for their families and pay taxes and not be on aid, like just the micro macro on every single part of this.
100. And I think people are so scared of change. I get it. But the reality is, I think what you're hearing from Dr. Jenni right now is that we're going to be disrupted no matter what. So let's not let a good crisis go to waste.
Very well said.
And let's figure this thing out, right?
Yeah.
From disruption comes innovation, right?
Yeah.
So let's say we get through this disruption and we innovate.
Yeah.
What do you want to see on the other end of this? I'm putting a pretend number up there. 5 years from now, this disruption causes this innovation. What do you want to see on the other side?
Well, I really want to see flexible, nimble, higher ed institutions that can meet a variety of students where they are.
Yes.
For me, I think about, and I'm constantly working towards systems change on the idea of adult ready and adult friendly institutions. The way that, there's national standards for a Hispanic serving institution. We have in California now Black serving institution status, and Sac State led the way with that under President Wood. And it's like, what's an adult friendly institution look like? What does an adult ready institution look like? So I'm working with partners in the community college system, and Sujin Jez with California Competes and her leadership. Like, what does this look like for California? What's it look like in our institutions? And I just, coming back to that equity issue of who we screened out, right? Like, how do we make that ready for them? And in all the research, when we do these pilot projects and figure out the barriers of adults coming back, if we can clear those, we're also addressing what screened people out in the first place, right? And so when we can change that, and we actually have institutions that are for all the people, not just some of the people, then like we are a better state, a better country.
And that's equity and that's justice right there. So good. That's leadership, my friends, right there. I love what you just said. I can't wait to play it back and hear this part over and over. I want to ask you this. I'm sure you've seen so many success stories for the College of Continuing Education. Is there one that really stands out to you that just, it got you? You're like, That was awesome that we were able to make that happen for that person or that family.
Yeah, there's so many, and actually, I will highlight someone who actually works for us now, Dr. Daly. She had been a young African American woman. She was going to community college. She was working in the finance industry, kind of doing some things, slowly progressing on an associate's degree, but putting food on the table, didn't really feel she needed to. And then she ended up working at, I'm not sure which one of the private sort of community colleges, doing some things, and they went out of business. And that like sort of jolted her. And she started in our degree completion program, the bachelor's in career technical studies. And she finished that, and it got her, right? Like it got her. And then she went on and got her master's degree.
Wow.
And then she got her doctorate degree from Sac State as well.
Wow.
She works in our college. Honestly, she's brilliant and she's kind and she's real. And I am thankful and grateful every day that she stays in our college. And recently, there was a little video that someone else did that was going around and just saying like, what's your why? To some of our folks, and V's like, my why is I want people to have the chance that I had, right? And she's like, people are afraid of education. It's so stuffy. You kind of said that early on. She's like, I want to keep it real with everyone. I want to tell people the things that I wanted to know in the way that I wanted people to talk to me. And she's got this lived experience, and she will figure out a solution. She is she's the exemplar of like, meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
Meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
Hold space, meet them where they're at,
Yeah.
and we'll find a path together. And she is, she's a role model. She's an inspiration. Yeah, love her to death.
V!
Yay!
That's what I'm talking about right there. Wait, if I haven't met you, I'm looking forward to meeting you. I want to know
We'll get
more
her
about
here.
you.
Let's get her here.
For
Yeah.
sure. That
Yeah.
sounds like an amazing story. Oh, you probably could write a book on these. When you think about your life as a leader in this area, what 2-3 things are you just most grateful for? The things that you look and you're like, I feel good about that.
Yeah, I am so grateful for the community, right? And it's really the communities, right? The way that communities overlap, the way that you can make a difference with one person and they can pay it forward.
Yeah, yeah.
And they can make additional connections. I am grateful for people that believed in me and gave me opportunities or created the conditions where I could step into opportunities to learn to like find my voice and how to advocate quietly or loudly. And grateful for learning the importance of making space at the table to bring others with you. Really great to have learned that early on, and have been. It's always in my mind about who's missing from the table and how do I make space for others at that table.
Beautiful. Sacramento has such amazing change makers, such amazing leaders. Dr. Jenni Murphy is one of those critical pieces that fills in this part of the tapestry that gives people second chances or illuminates their brilliance and says, here's a way to make things happen. Dr. Jenni Murphy, thank you so much for being a change maker. We love everything that you and your department are doing.
Thank you so much for your leadership, for having a venue like this to share stories, and thanks for your leadership, especially around all the youth, and that's our future. Yeah. That's our future.
Right on. Thank you. See you soon. Thank you to the Rink Studios for providing this amazing space, to Del Paso Heights. Just what a wonderful feeling to know that we are in a good place like Sacramento. Peace out. We'll see you next season for an exciting adventure of the In Our Tribe podcast.